This is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little boogeyman.
All right. Coming down the aisle, your podcast tag team champions of the world, Boomer and Blaze.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And he's Blaze. And here we are back again, and we are in that time of year. We are in December. It's Christmas time. Are you excited, Blaze? Are you excited? Humbug. He's a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
I need to find a way to stop Christmas from coming.
See, he is. He is a mean one, by the way. I'm even festive. I got the elf shirt today that I'm sporting. You know, that's a classic.
I have a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation shirt.
Nice, yes. Classic.
And a Christmas MTV shirt.
Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah. Speaking of Christmas Vacation, I've already watched that. I've already started diving into Christmas movies, as I do every year. I've watched Christmas Vacation already, Jingle All the Way. And I got to tell you, the other night I watched Bad Santa. And I've probably seen that movie, I couldn't even count, over 100 times, and I still laugh my ass off every time I watch Bad Santa. I am telling you, John Ritter in that movie is so hilarious. He kind of steals the show. When's the last time you watched Bad Santa?
I've only seen it once.
Really?
I don't remember liking it that much, to be honest with you.
Of course, I think we've talked in the past though, and I believe you're not a huge Billy Bob fan, correct? Like Billy Bob Thornton's.
I'm fine with him.
Yeah,
I'm not like a big fan, but he's there. It's not like I don't I don't avoid his movies, but I also don't be like, I need to see this new Billy Bob Thornton movie.
If you go back and watch it, though, I think you'd really... John Ritter and Bernie Mac are just like two people that steal that movie. John Ritter's like this really conservative, really white, nerdy guy that runs the mall. Bernie Mac's the security guard, and it's just... I don't know. I think it's hilarious. It's one of my favorites. Like, there's this one scene where John Ritter's like... we can't have you fornicating with any women. And Billy Bob's like, I've fucked several women, but I don't think I've ever fornicated a woman in my life. You know? It's just good stuff. Makes you laugh every time. So anyway, so we're going to be getting into that Christmas chat. And I think a good place to start is somebody definitely tied to Christmas just got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. How about that? It looks like she finally found Kevin after all these years. Not Kevin Hart, which came out, that commercial I think came out last year with Kevin Hart, where she's in that commercial with Kevin Hart.
Oh, yeah, that was actually, I liked it.
How'd you lose another Kevin? But anyway, yes, Macaulay Culkin gets a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I obviously one of the biggest things he is tied to is being Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. But, and maybe younger people, I hope they know, but like people younger than us may not realize he did a lot more than that. Like My Girl, you talk about a tearjerker when we were kids. Like My Girl's a great movie.
I even as a kid, I cried like a bitch.
Yeah, me too. And
I can tell you the scene too. Can you guess what scene I cried like a bitch?
Well, it's got to be when she died or when he died. It's got to be, right?
Not necessarily when he died, but
the funeral.
The funeral. And she's like, his glasses. He needs his glasses. He can't see without his glasses. I'm like,
to this day, I bet if you go back and watch that, that's a very intense scene. The glasses.
I'm crying now, damn it.
Yeah, just thinking about it. And personally, for me, one of my favorite Macaulay Culkin movies, which may be a sleeper, and if you people have not seen it or haven't seen it in a while, go back and check it out, is The Good Son.
The Good Son, yeah.
Macaulay played the evil. I'm trying to think. Was that Elijah? Was Elijah Wood the other person?
Elijah Wood, I think so. I think so. So Here, so I got this as a trivia question the other day at trivia.
Okay. Throw it at me.
What movie did Macaulay Culkin become the highest paid child actor of all time? I believe he had like millions, or I can't remember the amount, the figure, but he was the highest paid child's
for which
highest paid
for which movie? Is that what you're asking? What
for
movie
which
got
movie?
See, I'm gonna go out in left field and I'm gonna guess Richie Rich.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
It was not Richie Rich.
Home Alone 2.
That's what we guessed. That was also incorrect.
Wow.
My
so
Girl.
What one? My Girl.
My Girl.
Really? Wow. So is My Girl after or before?
My Girl was the next big movie he did after
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
It was before Home Alone 2.
It was like before Home Alone 2. Yeah, okay. I believe Home Alone was 1990, I think. And then
early 90s,
My Girl was 91.
It was like 92.
That might be off a year. It might be 91 for
I want to
Home
say
Alone,
My Girl
92,
was
My Girl.
Yeah.
And I think Home Alone 2 was 93 or 94.
I guess that would make sense. I was guessing Richie Rich with that, which that was kind of later in his career. But I guess My Girl makes sense because he just came off of Home Alone, which made him, a household name. Yeah. So I know he made a lot more for Home Alone 2 because he was kind of hesitant to even do it. But as an adult, once I grew older, I realized Home Alone 2 is actually the better one. I mean, I love Home Alone, one of my favorites. But the second one's actually better than the first one.
I don't compare.
Yeah. You
can't compare the Sticky and the Wet Bandits, okay?
Right.
You can't do it.
You can't compare them. It's not.
Both are great. Both are great.
Yeah, but this was a cool moment. Congratulations to Macaulay, and of course he gets reunited with his movie mom. So good for him.
Catherine O'Hare.
Good for him. Yeah. Good for Macaulay. All right. So I posed a question to you last week about Christmas.
You did.
And asked you if you could have Christmas with any Christmas movie family, who would it be? And I think you'll appreciate my choice because after I went to the dark side and jumped on the bandwagon of, hey, a lot of movies that may not be Christmas movies are Christmas movies, like Die Hard. And my pick, because if I could pick a family to have Christmas with, I want to have Christmas with Bruce Wayne. And how can I pick Bruce Wayne?
It's going to be a lonely-ass Christmas. That's a lonely-ass Christmas.
Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. Yeah, but see, that's it. I don't want Bruce to be alone, and we can fight crime together. And imagine the gifts you would get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I probably won't get a Batmobile, but I might get a motorcycle like Robin had or something. You know what I mean? Like, how can you not go with...
But then you'd sit at this long-ass table, and you'd be on one side, and he'd be on the
other. Can you pass the salt? That table was amazing in that, by the way.
Yeah.
That was an amazing table in that movie. The mansion was killer, so yeah, definitely.
And then
with
you have Alfred there, but he's going to be taking care of everything and not actually visiting,
By the way, this isn't Christmas with a Batman. This is Christmas with the Batman. I just want to pass that out.
That's true.
The Batman. I just want to say. So there's my pick. The Batman. There's my pick for Christmas. Christmas with the Wayne. Wayne, not Wayne.
Let's just put it...
He's all by himself.
I kind of forgot, so I didn't make a graphic for this. But I'm going to take a similar route. A perpetual loner, so to speak. It's probably not going to end well for me, but I'm having Christmas with the Grinch.
There you go. I think that's the perfect fit for you. And we all know, I mean, if you've been following our show, we can hate
Christmas together.
If you've been following our show, you should know that he was actually the Grinch for one of our cover arts back in the day. It was for an In Your House.
It was.
Seasons Beatings. And we were so excited too. Right away, he was like, I have the perfect picture for this. Like, he was all about it. But yeah, I can see you having Christmas with the Grinch. I think you two would have a good time. I think you two would have a... Speaking of the Grinch, and we'll save this because I'm going to guess, have you got to see the mean one yet?
No. How do you... No. Did you see it?
Well, I did, but see, I ponied up and rented it. I think it's coming to one of the stream services. And I didn't want to wait. I wanted to watch it, so I paid the $5 or whatever. I loved it, but we'll wait till you get to see it before we talk about it. Way better than way better than Winnie the Pooh thing. Way better than Blood and Guts. I actually enjoyed the mean one. It was Yeah, it was really good, nice and gory. Instead of Whoville, it's called Newville, and instead of the Who, whatever they called the people in the village, they focus on Jews for some reason. It's Newville with the Jews. I don't know, but anyway. Hey, it's the movie, not me. I'm just saying. So, yeah, we'll wait till you get to see it before we cover it completely.
I do want to see it, but no, I haven't seen it yet. Me and my son need to start doing our 3 pods of Christmas, so we got to start getting on that.
Yeah, you got to put that on there. Yeah, and what brings them out is anytime anybody puts up anything Christmas, boom, there's the Grinch to kill you and take your decorations.
Okay.
I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's this great scene where this girl is in a bar with this guy, and they're talking about him. They're talking about the mean one, and this guy is like the these kind of movies. He's the guy that's been hunting them for years, whatever, that kind of character.
I've been trying to find that green bastard.
I've been chasing that green bastard. Yeah, exactly, one of those characters. And she goes, "What do they call him? What do they call him?" And right when he's getting ready to say, well, he has a lot of names. He goes by the mean one and this, but they call him. And right when he's getting ready to say Grinch, the bartender comes up and says, "Finch, pick up for Finch." So they did that old gag because they couldn't actually say Grinch. So they did the old, cover up gag. That was a pretty cool scene, but you'll enjoy it. We'll wait to cover it, like I said. Until,
I do want to see it. I do want to see it.
Yeah, it's a great one. All right. Well, me with Batman and you with the Grinch. It sounds like a good time. You might want to hang out with the mean one more than the Grinch. You know what I mean? All right.
And I gotta kill people. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that kind of responsibility.
Well, maybe he can do all the killing, and you can just take down the Christmas stuff.
So I'm like
destroy it.
I'm like the big guy with with Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
On the Twisted Metal show.
Yeah, you're that guy. That's who you are. That's a good fit for sure. That's a good fit. All right.
So what's next?
Let's talk about. You're probably wondering why I even sent it to you, but let's talk about Kiss, because we like to keep up on things, and this is going to tie into something we talked about a couple of weeks ago. But of course, Kiss has
rock and roll all night.
Party every day. Kiss has been on their end of the road tour for over a year now. Their final tour, they say for real this time.
Haven't they said that many times?
People joke about that, but technically this is their second final tour. But when they did it the first time, it was with the original members, Ace and Peter, and that really was the last time they went on tour with those two guys. So anyway, it's neither this or that. I kind of believe it because they're getting old, man. Gene Simmons, Gene and Paul are like 70. And I don't think people realize like Gene's boots alone weigh 40 pounds. So it's he's a 70-year-old guy trying to carry 100 pounds of shit on stage while he's thinking. So I kind of believe it's over. But we also know that Kiss loves to make money and blah, blah, blah. Point being, their last 2 shows were December 1st and 2nd. They took over New York City for an entire week. They had Kiss on the cabs. They lit up the Empire State Building with Kiss. They did their last 2 shows at Madison Square Garden. And at the end of their final show, Paul Stanley did this speech about how we are going to live on forever because of you fans, and you deserve to enjoy us, and we found a way to keep ourselves going for the rest of our lives and even farther beyond, and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they introduced the new Kiss avatars. And it looks like Kiss is going to be the first band that I know of, first musical act that I know of, to have AI shows. See, we were talking about artificial intelligence. Kiss is going to continue to go on and perform, but they're going to do it with artificial intelligence and Kiss avatars. So, and these are actually the headshots of, and they actually did this with, they paid money. I forget the name of the FX company. Like they actually invested in this to have these made, and they showed some of the footage of them in their, motion capture things. So it's going to be interesting because, for one, we joke about the Terminator thing all the time, but this might be the future of concerts, especially for people like the Rolling Stones. All these people are on their final tours and they can't perform anymore. What I'm interested in is how many people will pay to go see a virtual Kiss concert or a AI Kiss concert. That's what I'm wondering. Like,
my curiosity is a couple things. Are they going to still sing in the back? Are they still going to show up to these things?
Well, that's what I wondered, is if they're going to do it that way, or if it's all because they already had recorded some songs. So is it all going to be pre-recorded? Because, I mean, technically, I don't know how much you know about the group, the Gorillaz.
I'm aware of the Gorillaz, yes.
When they first performed and toured, you never saw them on stage. You just saw their cartoon forms on screens. but they were there. They were there. So it's kind of similar to that, except another step, because I'm sure this is all going to be like, it'll probably look like they're on stage. We've seen holograms perform already, so I mean, we will see. But this is how Kiss is going to continue their legacy. People are trying to give them crap like that. Well, they didn't retire then. Well, yeah, they did. They're telling you they're not going to be on stage themselves anymore. I mean, so it is kind of retiring, but I just wanted to bring it up because I think this could be a new era, not just for Kiss, but this could be a new era of a lot of things in the future.
I guess for me, I think it would be cool and maybe worth it if they were still in the back playing, singing, even if they're not playing, if they're at least, but
it could even still be worth it if it's not going to be outrageous. Like, I can't even imagine what their last show tickets went for at Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I guess it may be done in the right place. Like, I don't know if you saw that footage from inside the Sphere they built in Las Vegas. U2 was the first group to perform there, but I think they could definitely do something badass in the Sphere in Vegas. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Will they actually be there? Who knows? I think Gene would do it in a heartbeat. Like, I think Gene wants to perform till the day he dies. But it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it and how much it costs and how many people go. It'll be interesting to see. But 50 years of Kiss. You can pick on it. Not everybody's a fan, and you can pick them on if you want, but I really do believe you're not going to see them tour anymore. You got to remember that's all they said. That's all this was. This is a retirement from touring. I sure didn't expect them to announce AI concerts. I kind of thought maybe they'd do the Vegas thing like a lot of stars do now and just get a residency in Vegas. Because then you don't have to travel and all that. But nope, they're going to go virtual. They're going to go AI. So there you go. It'll be interesting to see. For sure. All right.
Where are we going next?
Who Day is where we're going. Talk about the shock of the week. The shock of the week.
Man,
before Monday night, I couldn't even tell you the name of our backup. I'm just being honest. I am a huge Bengals fan, but when Burrow went down, I couldn't tell anybody who the hell our backup quarterback was. I know you now, Mr. Browning. I know who you are. I know you were an undrafted player, but you were picked up by the Minnesota Vikings. I know you're only like the second person in their second start to have the stats that you had. And by the way, we were undefeated in the white uniforms, so maybe it wasn't him. It might just be the all whites, baby. I'm just saying. It's a weird statistic, but they are undefeated.
We got the Colts next week, I think.
Now, here's the thing. I didn't get to see this whole game, and I don't want to take anything away from his performance because I saw the numbers. Amazing game. My question is, I know that I can't think of Jacksonville's quarterback's name right now. That's horrible.
Trevor Lawrence.
He went down.
He did.
What point of the game was that?
I think it was third quarter. And here's the thing.
Okay, so it's already late in the game at that point.
This game was, it was. Now Christian Kirk went down right off the bat, right at the beginning. They lost Christian Kirk as well. But this game was back and forth all game. Now, the Jaguars had scored all their touchdowns, but they scored 2 field goals with the backup. So we got all the way to, I think it was 28-28. I believe it was 28-28 before Trevor Lawrence went down.
Yeah.
So it is true.
So the point being, possible. So the point being is it was a competitive game before Lawrence even went down.
Yeah,
That's the part I was curious about.
Because
I had to
fantastic.
work, so I didn't get to watch it.
Browning was fantastic. One could argue that if Lawrence was in there, maybe those 2 field goals that the Jaguars got might have been touchdowns instead of field goals. But he had the first field goal he had was kind of a within the last 3 minutes. I think Trevor Lawrence had to have gone down in the fourth quarter actually, because we were 28-28 when he went down, and their backup only managed 2 field goals, but he still managed 2 field goals. He still did decent. But yeah, Browning was fantastic. He had the first drive that was bad, and everybody on my Bengals site was all talking about, you need to throw in AJ McCarron, Browning's not it. but after that, he just went off. I mean, he had a very good game. He was poised.
I obviously wasn't doing that during the game, but when Burrow first went down and we knew that Burrow couldn't play, I questioned why this guy was starting over AJ at first. I'm talking about initially. But of course, AJ has been going a while and don't know the system, and Jake does. And see, a lot of times guys like this, because I read everything about him, he's never been a starter, but he's been in the league now since 2019, and he knows he's not going to get the Bengals starting job. But a lot of times guys like this, though, that what does he have to lose? Absolutely nothing. He's never had a starting job ever, so he has nothing to lose. But this could also be a tryout and audition. So a lot of times guys like this are perfect as a backup because they get this opportunity and they want to show what they can do and they're hungry. And I think that's what we have here. He's just like, listen, I know I'm not going to take Joe Burrow's job, but this is a chance for me to maybe get a job somewhere else.
Look, I mean,
or maybe be happy staying in Cincinnati.
The nice thing about this kid is he made it where my brother-in-law was done. When Joe Burrow went down, he's like, I'm not watching any more Bengals games. I'm more stubborn. I'm like, I'm watching Bengals games. I'm like, I only get football a little bit out of the year every year.
Oh, yeah.
If
I'm able to watch, I'm watching. Yeah, no. How many years did we watch the Bengals and there was no chance?
That's what I told him.
I still watched every game.
I watched Kajana Carter. I watched Andy Dalton,
Achilles Smith. Come on.
Yeah, we've watched some bad Bengals years. You think I'm going to stop just because Joe Burrow's not there? I don't watch. I'm not a Joe Burrow. I mean, I am a Joe Burrow fan, but I'm not just a Joe Burrow fan. I'm a Bengals fan. Would I be a Joe Burrow fan if he wasn't on the Bengals? I don't know. But
football is like the one true sport I can say that
I love.
This is my team, and I'm a fan of this team.
Yes.
Like, I used to be a Cavs fan, but I became a LeBron fan, and then when he started jumping, I became a Heat fan because, I was like, I'm a LeBron fan. That's not the way it is in the NFL. I am a Bengals fan.
First.
I love Joe Burrow to death, but if Joe Burrow went somewhere else, I'm not going to root for that team.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to root for that.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't think I'm
not going to become like
I do really. I'm not going to become Burrow.
I'm not going to become like a Cowboys fan if he went to Dallas, is all I'm saying, because I'm a Bengals fan. Like when Corey Dillon cried and left, I was glad he was gone. I was like, fuck you, Corey. And then he won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. But whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever, I'm just saying. We'll see. But it was still good to get a win, even though I don't expect us to go to a Super Bowl or even the playoffs because our division's so tough. But
the crazy thing is, though,
we're better than the Steelers. I'll say that.
Yeah, not last week. We lost the Steelers the week
well, we did, but
I'll say one thing though is that our division is tough. Yes, there's only one starting quarterback still in the division right now. The Browns lost Deshaun Watson. The Steelers just lost Kenny Pickett for who knows how long,
and we lost
Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson's the only player. The only starting quarterback in our division.
That puts a lot more pressure on Lamar and the Ravens.
Yeah.
To take this division and probably go even farther, because now, Lamar, you're like my co-host just said, you're the only team that still has their starting quarterback. Are you going to lose to the Browns and Joe Flacco in the playoffs? Is that your plan? Say.
There would be some poetic justice with that one.
Look, I know this isn't going to happen, but I would laugh so hard. I mean, Cleveland Browns fans would be happy, I know, but I would laugh so hard if Flacco took him to the Super Bowl and they're like, God, we overpaid Deshaun Watson and we paid Flacco a league minimum.
Yeah.
And here we are. But we still have to keep Deshaun because no one's going to take the contract.
I just want to see. Did the Ravens and the Browns already play twice? Because I really want to see that game with Joe Flacco.
I do too. I don't think they have, but I don't know for sure. I would like to see that game because, Flacco, of course, used to be a Raven. So we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of quarterbacks down in the league, that's for sure.
There's a
lot.
Not
just in our division. Well, a lot of quarterbacks have went down this year.
Lawrence just went down, but I think they're saying he might even play this week, so he might be okay. He's a high ankle sprain. Yeah. Anthony Richardson, the quarterback for the Colts, who we play this week, he's out.
Yep. Of course, Rodgers has been out since week 1.
Rodgers has been out. And a lot of the injured quarterbacks are all in the AFC. It's AFC's been hell on quarterbacks this year.
They're tired of the AFC dominating, so it's an inside job.
That's what
it is. Take out all the AFC quarterbacks. We know how to get the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. We're going to take out all the AFC quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So Dak can. Anyway, congratulations to the Bengals. Who day, baby, who day. And congratulations to Browning as well.
Indeed.
All right. Well, let's move on to some AEW news, which we haven't done in a while, but I'm sure this is the first time in his life. In fact, I know it isn't, but the Nature Boy,
woo,
got himself in a little bit of trouble. Here, and I'm going to tell the story. And I think the biggest problem for me is I'm an older guy, and I don't think this is that big of a deal. But I know the world's changed.
What did he do?
So Flair cut a promo for Rampage, which, by the way, Rampage doesn't air live. They film Rampage after Dynamite, so it's not a live show. But anyway, so he did this promo, and at the end of his promo, he did something he's done for years that he used to do when he was young all the time, and he said to the audience, "All women between 18 and 28, meet me in my hotel room. No boyfriends, no husbands. Woo!" Is that bad? I mean, I know he's 70, but so AEW is not very happy. It got leaked online, and yeah, and I get it because the world's changed, so it is kind of, but I don't know.
It's a little different when you're. It's a little different when you're a 70-some-year-old man.
It is.
And you're a grandpa to most of these people saying that compared to when you were like a young star at 30s.
Right. They probably found it creepy. I mean, the good thing is they can keep it from going on air, but because of the way the world is, like I said, it already leaked out, so people already have seen the promo. But let me read how Ric Flair responded. This is his tweet. He said, "I'm so tired of hearing all this negativity. I don't need to work, and I don't need the money. Can I simply enjoy being by my dear friend Sting's side for the next few months without so much hatred? I know I'm old, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy life. I've earned the right to do whatever I want, and I'm exactly where I want to be. I appreciate everything Tony Khan has done, but I'm more than willing to walk away if I've embarrassed your company." So there's Ric Flair's statement.
Here's the thing, though. Yes. But him asking, do I really deserve this much hate? But you're an on-air figure. You're going to have to get used to that happening here and there. I'm not saying it's a little weird. I'm not.
Yeah, it's a little weird because of his age. I imagine from his side, what happened was, you just fall into your character and it just kind of flowed. You know what I mean? I don't think he was maliciously out to say something to offend people. It's just he was in Ric Flair mode. And now I haven't heard him use that for years, so I don't know what got him to. He used to do it all the time when he was young, and then it wasn't as bad.
I think it wouldn't be so bad if he didn't make it clear that if you're over 28, you're not available.
Yeah. Maybe 28. Maybe 28 was
your criteria of age.
maybe 28 was the wrong age, but it was 18 to something. I know he cut it off at some point. I just can't remember exactly what the age was.
It's like any ladies over 18. That's still somewhat creepy. But then you're not like specifying. No, I only want you to if you're young enough to be my daughter. Actually, granddaughter maybe because. Charlotte Flair's probably in her 30s now, isn't she?
Probably by now, yeah. I'd say. So, Flair getting his little... I find it funny, though, because I heard Eric Bischoff talking about this the other day, how, everyone wants to say wrestling is fake, right? All the time. Wrestling's fake, wrestling's fake, wrestling's fake. But as soon as something happens that's offensive or too gross or too violent or whatever, people start complaining. And it's just kind of ironic, right? Because if you watch a movie and something happens, you're just like, it's a movie, oh well. But you got these people out here on one hand that are like, well, wrestling's fake. And then on the other hand, something happens is like, oh, that offends me and that's taking it too far. It's just kind of funny. That's all. It's kind of ironic that, it's treated that way. But it's that fine line of people want to say it's fake, but wrestlers are treated like athletes. And like you said, Ric Flair is, you're a household name and you're on TV, and you have to kind of, there's kids in the audience. You gotta watch what you say.
Look, I recognize that us doing a podcast, we may not be a popular or successful podcast, but we're also prone to get hate. I get it all the time on my YouTube. Now, that because YouTube actually has comments and stuff, where most of our podcasts we don't hear anything. unless you make a review.
Right.
You should totally make a review. Hopefully it's a good one. We would like a great review. That would be lovely. However,
by the way, I was right. He did cut it off at 28, and maybe that was the angrier. Maybe if he would have said any women between the age of like 20 and 60 or something, I don't know.
Yeah,
he
said 18 to 28. I
think the age cap. I think you're right. The age cap's what made it a little creepy and inappropriate. For sure. If
you say 18 to whatever, then you're just saying, women. Any women want to come to my thing. But when you're like, oh no,
you're specifically
you're
like
30, you're not invited.
Too old.
You're too old. I'm 72, but you're too old. That's when it's like
you must be under.
Yeah.
You must be under 28 years old to ride Space Mountain.
Yeah,
you have to be under 28 if you want to ride Space Mountain. Yeah. So, we'll see where it goes.
He wants that barely legal age.
I think his tweet I read to you was kind of double-handed. Like I don't know, but I would have just said I'm sorry, and if I've offended the company too bad, I'll leave. I wouldn't have threw in all that I'm Ric Flair, I can do what I want stuff. I don't need your money,
right?
And yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think they're gonna fire him because he's really just there because they thought it would be cool to have Flair by Stink's side until he retires at the pay-per-view. Yeah. So that's the only reason he's there. So we'll see. Maybe just keep him off TV for a couple weeks, whatever, if that's what you have to do. But
right.
Luckily for him, this isn't back in the day, because if this was like back in the day when with WCW, he might have lost his job because with WCW they were owned by the network. Luckily for him, AEW is not owned by the network.
Right.
Tony Khan owns AEW. So, but still, you got to watch what you do sometimes. So there you go.
It kind of
best
of
help. Luck to you, NHL boy.
Helpful.
It's helpful. It's helpful to watch what you do. All right. Well, let's move on to some WWE and a couple of quick things to review that happened this week, and we'll talk about SmackDown. Randy Orton was on SmackDown, and the whole show was pretty much built around Nick Aldis and what's the Raw GM's name? Anyway, that guy, Pierce. Adam Pearce is Nick Aldis. We're trying to, Adam Pearce is the Raw GM, and Nick Aldis is the SmackDown GM, and they were trying to woo Randy, get him to decide where he wants to sign. Adam Pearce was offering him a world title shot if he signed with Raw. Nick Aldis said, "I'll give you a match with everyone in the Bloodline if you choose SmackDown." At the end of the show, Randy Orton chose to sign with SmackDown, and then he gave Nick Aldis a RKO.
So, yeah, I heard Randy signed with SmackDown, so he could
thanks for signing me.
The Bloodline.
Yeah. I kind of like that storytelling too, because you literally turned down a guaranteed right away championship shot because you want to go after the Bloodline. So I like the storyline reason for that. So I like that. So yeah, Orton's going to be on SmackDown. I don't think they've announced it, but I think we all assume Punk's going to be on Raw. I don't know if they announced that officially.
No,
or not,
actually, I kind of skimmed through Raw last night, and it said
I did too.
CM Punk returns to SmackDown.
Yep.
And they were talking about how he's still a free agent. He's the most sought after free agent. So they haven't.
So they're probably going to do
They may have already made a decision, but they're not making a decision yet.
Right. It'd be interesting to see where he goes. I'm actually shocked that Cody hasn't moved yet, because if Cody's going to go after Roman at Mania, you would think that he's going to be moving brands, but we'll see. So you watched a little bit of Raw too, so I did. I skimmed through it. I watched the promo right away from Drew McIntyre talking about how, Seth could choose anyone he wanted to defend against, and he chose Jay over him. So then Sammy came out and they had a match. The main event of Raw, Uso and Seth. What a match. What a great match. And I think Jay, I wasn't sure first about the Usos and the splitting and all that, but I think Jay has potential. I think Jay could be the Shawn Michaels of the group. You know what I'm saying? I think that
maybe.
I think Jay is outstanding. It was a great main event, and I was shocked because it was a clean finish too. Not that I expected Seth to cheat, but I thought that the shenanigans were going to happen during the match. But they actually happened after the match, when Drew came out and attacked both men and put Jay through the table. So Drew is a bad guy. I like bad Drew. So now that Drew's bad again, can we do a couple things here? One, stop it with the fucking sword. This is the 80s. Stop carrying a sword to the ring.
No.
You're not fucking.
Don't listen.
You're not fucking Braveheart.
Don't listen to
You're
Boomer.
Drew McIntyre.
Stick with the sword.
Come on, man.
Stick with the sword.
The sword's so.
Come out with.
Now that you're a heel, you don't need the sword. The sword's so cheesy.
Come out with the sword resting on your shoulder. Yeah, no, fuck it. I like the sword.
Get rid of the sword and bring back his old music from back in the day when he was the chosen one. Drew McIntyre. That's the two things I'd like to see.
I don't remember his old music. I have the new stuff in my head.
It's such a good song, but I'd have to Google it to even remember the name of it. But he got to use it one time. They let him use it at a Clash of the Castle when he took on Roman for the title. But I'd like to see that come back. But I'm all about Drew being a heel. I think he's better as a heel. He's got a great look. I'm giving shit about his sword. But I think as a bad guy, I don't think he should have the sword. That's just my opinion.
I won't disagree. Like, I don't think he should come out and do the, like, you know, putting it down thing. But I wouldn't mind him being a heel and having the sword and just, like, lazily putting it over his shoulder or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if you keep the sword, I can see it better in a different, like, doing different things with it.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely for heel Drew.
Yeah,
for sure. All right. Well, I think here I sent you that real quick. There's a link to YouTube so you can check his old song out. But anyway,
we'll check that off air.
Let's move on. Yeah, check it off air. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some WrestleMania rumors. And I sent you a little graphic because that's one of the big rumors right now about WrestleMania. There's a couple, of course. They're still saying the plan for the title is now either Cody, still Cody or Rock versus Roman for that title. Early U.S. title rumor is Logan Paul versus John Cena.
A rematch.
Interesting, I guess.
It'd be a rematch. No. It was
no.
It was that
but
guy that everybody forgot about.
Theory.
Austin
Theory.
He's just a theory.
Again. But this is the one they're talking about, that they are actually working on CM Punk and Stone Cold for WrestleMania.
Now, does Stone Cold want to do this?
That?
Like,
Stone Cold's with Punk. I don't know, but I know Stone Cold has said that he was interested after how well things went with Kevin. He said he was interested in doing something else. My thing is, I don't expect Austin to be at this WrestleMania at all, because he also said, unless WWE already told him at the beginning of the year, we want you to do a match, because he said he wanted to have more time to prepare if he was going to come back again, because apparently the thing with Kevin Owens kind of came together at the last minute. So will it happen? I don't know, but as much as I'm glad Punk is back and I'm kind of getting over to the other side of not being mad at him anymore, I would much rather see something like this than, like, I don't want somebody else to lose their opportunity at a title or whatever because of Punk. I know Punk's Punk and I know what you've done, but there's other people like LA Knight. Like I told you, I was worried. Is he going to get completely pushed away? That, you see what I'm saying? I'd much rather Punk have a match like this than Punk get any kind of title shot.
Yeah. Is
all I'm saying. Because he just came back. So you got Logan Paul versus Cena being rumored, Punk versus Austin being rumored, and right now they're still saying that Gunther and Brock is also a plan for Mania, so we'll see. I'm hearing some rumors that I hope aren't true, and I'm sure you hope they aren't true either, because there's some rumors swirling that Goldberg might return at Royal Rumble.
Oh, God. If he wins the fucking
Royal Rumble,
rumors. I'm over it. I'm done.
Those are just rumors. I hope not. And Triple H we trust. I don't think this is something Triple H would do. That sounds like some Vince McMahon shit. Goldberg's not even under contract anymore, so I don't think that's going to happen. But
here's the thing.
It's a rumor.
I don't have a problem with Goldberg being in the Rumble. He just better not fucking win it. He better not win it.
But don't win it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to see him win it. That would be my thing. I don't even want to see The Rock win it, and I love The Rock. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't want to see him win it either. Boy, that would be great, though. I wouldn't mind seeing The Rock. Could you imagine? See, I'd be okay with all those veterans, because we used to love that, and you don't get it as much anymore. We used to love those surprise entrants into the Rumble, where the legends come back or whatever. You don't really get it as much as we used to. But so we'll see where it goes. We're not that far. I know it seems like we are, but what, WrestleMania is in April, right? Yeah, April 7th. So it's going to be here before we know it.
Royal Rumble's in January. We got one more month.
Yeah, Royal Rumble right around the corner. Yeah, can't wait. Royal Rumble's always one of my favorites, that's for sure. All right, well, I think we rambled everything we had to ramble about, which means
negative.
We only have one more thing. Negative. What do you have?
One.
Oh, I did forget something. Go ahead. We'll let you go. Do it.
I mean, this wasn't you sent me this, but
we'll throw it up because I don't. That yes, this is our Spotify Wrapped.
Indeed.
And we want to throw out a thank you. Check that out. Check it out.
Yeah.
47% listeners, 35% new followers, 214. Wow, dude, that's a lot of minutes. You know what I'm saying? Too bad we don't get paid for all that.
Well, think about it. Last year, we only started halfway through the year, and this year we did it.
Yeah, it did a full...
pretty much. I mean, we missed a week or two, but we did it all year. So
a whole year. I put up with you for a whole year. Damn.
Over a year, asshole.
Just joking. Over a year. Oh, asshole. So there you go. Yes, that was our Spotify Wrap.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it. Instead, we got some new listeners in the United Kingdom. So if you're listening now, thank you. We appreciate it. We love to have fans everywhere. And don't forget,
enjoy fish and chips.
This is all great, but we need some fish and chips, a little pint. This is all great, but don't forget, we need those reviews. We need those 5 stars. We need those 5 stars.
We do need those 5 stars. And reviews.
Give us those 5 stars everywhere. And reviews. And heat. Look, my co-host loves his heat. Okay, give him shit. We'll take that too. Heat. It doesn't all have to be good.
Absolutely.
Tell him how he's wrong.
I'll talk all the shit.
I'll talk all this shit. So there you go. Yes, our Spotify Wrap. We got to grow. We got a whole year. Like you said, pretty much did a whole year. Life happens, and until we get hush money, we may miss episodes here and there until the hush money comes in. So there you go. There's our Spotify Wrap. Now we have one more thing. I'm glad you caught me. He always has to catch me, because I forget stuff.
I have all these pictures that I saved that you sent. So I had them all there, and I'm like, where's one of these that we have not done yet? So
which one's not like the other?
Yeah.
And I think that our one last thing we have left. It kind of hurt me a little bit, but it's appropriate for this time of the year. So here we go. It's time for our Chic Tweet of the Week. And this one is definitely appropriate for Christmas time. Our Chic Tweet of the Week is Alvin, Simon, and Theodore, go fuck yourself. Apparently, the Chic is not a fan of the Chipmunks.
He's just like, Christmas time.
Shut the fuck up. Like, come on, Sheik. How can you not love that? How can you not love that song? I wish, he doesn't work anymore, but I actually have Alvin right here.
He's upset because he was like, I wanted hula hoop when I was child, and I never got hula hoop.
This guy doesn't work anymore, but I drove my family crazy with this because this used to play Christmas time, and he would, move.
Yeah.
And the hula hoop would hula, and I just play the shit out of it to drive people crazy. So there you go. There's our Chic Tweet of the Week. Alvin, Simon, Theodore, go fuck yourselves. All right. So we are ready, and it is time for us to watch Judgment Day 1998. That's the year I graduated.
That is not the year I graduated.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's see what we're in for. Let's check out Judgment Day.
Let us do that.
All right, here we go. So Judgment Day kicks off with a singles match, and it is Al Snow and Head accompanying him to the ring, of course, taking on Mark Marrow and the one that gives him head, Jacqueline. Ooh, sorry.
Are you sure Head doesn't give head?
I mean, I don't know. I heard Head was pretty wild back in the day. Marty Jannetty's got some head stories. I was 13 years old. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
Marty Jannetty's the reason Head doesn't have a body.
Dude, one of the other, not to veer off, but one of the other podcasts I listen to, they do a segment called Checking In with Marty, and they just read Marty Jannetty tweets. It's pretty funny. Pretty hilarious shit anyway.
Nice.
So here we go, and of course, here I go, and we're watching a pay-per-view, and it's the first match, and they haven't even rung the bell yet, and then some music hits, and it's fucking JEFFJ, Jeff Jarrett had to come out because I need TV time, even though I'm not in this match. Apparently there's apparently there's a feud going on between Jeff Jarrett and Al Snow, and that's what they were trying to build here. So it was just a quick little segment. But you know what? Now you wouldn't look at this, at least I wouldn't look at this and be like, man, this is going to be like, and I'm not saying it was a barn burner, but this was a nice, solid kickoff match. Fucking Al Snow did a moonsault, and I don't think I've ever seen that from Al Snow. I guess I don't remember. I guess when I remember Al Snow, all I really remember is, what does everybody want? Head. I don't remember a lot of his wrestling,
It's like, I don't remember if he was good. But
right, which is true. Like, all I could remember was he was over because of Head. That's all I could remember.
Right.
They should do a Dark Side of the Ring on Head. You know what I mean? How come Head doesn't get the credit? Head and Mr. Sacco are two of the most underrated performers that get no love.
Indeed.
I'm just saying. Indeed. Just want to put that out there. But no, good, decent opening match. Mark Merrow kept doing this shit where he was pulling his trunks way up above his belly button every time before he went on the top rope. And I'm guessing, I would have to look to see if the timeline's right, but I'm guessing that's like an Urkel reference. I don't know. I assume Family Matters was probably off by then. This is 98. I don't know what the hell he was doing.
It could have been Family Matters.
It could have been an Urkel reference. I don't know. But, of course, Jacqueline had to distract the ref at one point. She didn't have to, but she did. And got a little low. Mark Merrow got a little low blow in. Got the old snowballs with the with the arm.
Nice. Points.
I mean, I'm just saying, he is the snowman, right? So, anyway, it was back and forth match. Indeed. With a little bit of shenanigans, but in the end, Al Snow hit the old, what does he call that? The snowplow?
Snowplow, right? I believe.
That's what he calls it. Yeah, and won the match, but good back and forth, good high flying. I didn't see any botches. Mark Merrow also did like a moonsault off the top when Al Snow was standing, and he did the old back moonsault. So I thought it was a pretty decent opening match. I have no real complaints about it. It's not no 5-star Ricky the Dragon Steamboat Macho Man match, but good way to kick off the show.
Not sure why you got to bring up one of the best matches of all time to compare it to.
Why not?
But sure, you know what I mean?
It's not that, but for a kickoff match, I found it highly entertaining. I thought it was a good way to start the show. And Al Snow is over, is he not? Like, everybody wants Head. Everybody.
Everybody wants Head. I mean, you come out there with the fucking Head. Of course, everybody wants Head.
I thought I'd also mention.
Literally ask everyone.
I thought
what
I'd
does
also
everybody
mention,
want?
Head. Jacqueline is the women's champion, as you saw, I think, too, by the way.
That.
And in case anyone's curious, I'm surprised you haven't noticed, but if you look up here, I promise you that's the Grinch, but he's not dead. It's one of those inflatable things, I just don't have it turned on. But I have a Grinch decoration. That's what's but I didn't kill him.
Okay.
You see back there dangling away? This right
a
here?
Little bit, but it's a small screen, so it's kind of hard to see right now.
It is. All right. So anyway, decent match, good way to kick it off. I'm gonna give this 3 heads. 3 heads.
3 heads.
I thought Mark Merrow's quirkiness during this, I don't know why he was acting like a fool, but I thought it was a great touch too. It made the match entertaining with Mark Merrow acting like an idiot.
I'm gonna give this 3. Did I do that?
Then I do. Good one. By the way, I just watched it. This is random. I like to ramble though sometimes. There's this show called Dark Side of Comedy, which is basically just like Dark Side of the Ring, except they do it with comedians and such. And they did an episode on Family Matters. You should watch that. I would have never guessed that Jaleel White was a dick, but that's what you learn by watching.
He was a dick.
He was as soon as Urkel became the star of the show, he turned into a real asshole on the sets. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, he let it get to him. That he was the star of the show. So, but that was back then. It doesn't make him a bad person now. I'm just saying. And the girl that played the youngest daughter on the show ended up doing porn. So you learn a lot when you watch those kind of specials. Anyway.
And her name was what? Research, my friend. Research.
Wrong peacock. Wrong.
I need.
Right. Anyway, it was interesting, Dark Side of Comedy, but
pictures where it didn't happen.
Pictures where it didn't happen. I got to make sure this is real. This is for podcast purposes. No, but I found it
You brought it up. I got to make sure,
Well, you know what? I remembered once I watched this special, because I used to watch Family Matters, right? TGIF was a huge part of when we were kids.
Right.
And I do remember that one season that the youngest daughter all of a sudden just wasn't on the show anymore. And they never explained it. They just took her off the show. And she didn't even find out in real life until they started shooting the second season that she had been let go. So it was just one of those tough things to deal with, and somebody offered her some money, and one thing led to another, and somebody asked her if she wanted to do some music videos, and one thing led to another.
We need you to do some music videos with your clothes off. Also, could you please list penis in here?
I mean, in a way, you feel it's easy to joke about it, but you kind of feel bad because she said that's what she was told, which was going to be like music, and then she showed up and realized what it was. But at that point, she was like, "Well, I was already there. I needed the money. The money was good, so I figured, fuck it, let's do it.
Fuck it."
Child stardom, Hollywood's an evil machine. But anyway, let's move on and let's see what's next.
Okie dokie.
All right, so our next match is a fucking DOA. The more I think about it, the faction name for these guys was perfect because they're dead on arrival every time they show up to participate in a match. And it's the DOA with Paul Ellering against LOD 2000, which now includes Droz.
Hooray. All
right, next match. Oh, no, we got to talk about this, don't we?
Do we?
Dude, it was bad. I mean, it was boring, but it was bad. And every time DOA's in the ring, it was bad. And this is not the LOD that we loved as kids.
No.
Hawk's in the deep struggles of his personal life at this time. The DOA just sucks. I don't know why they're still here. But hey, on the bright side, here's some facts for you. This is the last time Paul Ellering's on a pay-per-view until he shows up in NXT. And this is the last time DOA is on a pay-per-view.
Oh.
So we are done with the Disciples.
Hallelujah.
And, this is also the last time LOD is on a pay-per-view. So there you go. This is the last time we see all these guys on pay-per-view. Not Droz, because Droz becomes a singles guy, for a little while.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, even I've been watching wrestling my whole entire life. I've never, ever seen the Doomsday Device look bad, but even that looked bad. Even the finish. Somehow 8-Ball or Skull or Q-Ball or whichever fucking one it was up on his shoulders started falling before Hawk even got to him. He started going too early. It didn't even connect. What the fuck are we doing? So the good news is we don't have to watch Skull and 8-Ball anymore, or the Harris Brothers, or the Blue Brothers, or whatever you want to call them. Out. Bye.
Hooray.
Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. And I'm going to give this, God, I don't want to give it anything, to be honest with you. But I'm going to give this one jacked manager, because I will tell you, Paul Ellering looked like a He-Man out there. He did look in good shape, so there you go.
That's not too bad. I'm going to give this one Air Doomsday Device. Whiff. Swinging a whiff.
And I know I pick on him all the time, but LOD doesn't look right with hair either. I don't know why it throws them. They're still so jacked.
It's really weird.
But then I see the hair, and I'm just like, you look like the middle-aged uncle who's trying to fit in at the party. That's even better. They do look like Chia Pets.
Chia.
But of course, sadly, actually, crazy enough, I guess, and sadly, none of those guys are with us. None of LOD, including Droz, are with us anymore. So, unfortunately. So,
it's kind of sad.
Anyway, it is. It is kind of sad. And Droz was recent. Remember, Droz was just last year, I think. That Droz passed away.
We talked about it, actually.
It was because we talked about it, so it was pretty recent.
It's this year.
Was it this year? It was this year, see? Yeah, because we're at the end of the... Yeah, you're right. It was this year. So Droz just recently. An Animal was only a year or two ago, so Hawk, of course, died younger. But anyway, enough of that bad talk. Enough of this bad match. Let's move on and hope... Oh, by the way, we did see a little segment. I forgot we saw a backstage segment of Austin arriving, and he was trying to go up to the dressing rooms, and there was Briscoe and Patterson. Like, no, this isn't your dressing room. We got one for you because he's the ref, by the way. The main event tonight is Kane and Undertaker for the vacant title with Stone Cold as the ref. And they're like, we got a special dressing room for you. And they took him to a fucking mop closet. It was great. It was great. I'm just saying that kind of little stuff is all. I don't think there is probably, and we're not there. I wish, like you, I wish we would have started doing WCW right away so we could be in the same timelines, because this era right here is probably the best time in wrestling. And we got Stone Cold Raising Hell on this channel, and we got the NWO running roughshod on the other channel. And yeah, just what a time to be a wrestling fan. But let's move on. Enough of this. Bye bye, DOA.
We're done.
Bye bye. Bye bye bye. All right, real quick before we talk about our next match, I should have brought this up, during the last match because we had nothing to talk about, but there were some dark matches that we did not get to see for this pay-per-view. And, boy, so one of them made me laugh. But anyway, Steve Blackman defeated Bradshaw. The Oddities defeated Los Boricuas. Isn't it a shame we missed that?
I didn't know they were still here.
They must have got their passports back. I don't know, or whatever, their green card. Jeff Jarrett lost to Scorpio. And the other dark match, and what made me laugh, is the way this is listed on Wikipedia, because it says Farouk against the Godfather with 2 hoes, in parentheses. So we got the hoe train now, obviously. We just don't get to see it on the pay-per-view. But so anyway, there you go. There's that. Our next with 2 hoes in parentheses. Our next match is for the light heavyweight championship, and it's Christian with Gangrel against Taka Mikanochu with Yamaguchi-san.
Yamaguchi-san, you racist piece of shit. It's Yamaguchi-san. Come on now.
Wow. I'm not racist. I just have a problem saying just like Mikanochu driver, but not only was this oh my God.
Sorry, I just had to be a dick. Especially when this is what I did.
Is that a toy Taka? It is.
It's a Taka Michinoku
action figure, as we like to say. Oh wow. And look, I believe
I looked up his name, and that's what I found.
Hey, why not? I know this is Christian's first pay-per-view match, but I believe they said this was his first match, period.
I think they did. They said this is the first time he's been in the ring.
And by the way, a quick side note: this is the last time we see Mr. Yamaguchi. This is his
Yamaguchi-san.
Yamaguchi-san.
Just tell me when you need to say it.
So you can just do it for me.
You're struggling. I see it.
The struggle is real. What a match! What a match here. Of course, you guys already know we are big Taka fans. Obviously, I was a huge fan of Edge and Christian. Christian and Edge, both, by the way, still wrestling. Speaking of that, it'll be over by the time people listen to the podcast, but live tonight on Dynamite, Christian is defending the TNT title against Adam Copeland, and they're in Canada. So that should be a interesting main event. But as far as this one goes, dude, this was high-flying, fast-paced, very exciting. Even stuff like there was a spot where Taka was coming off the ropes and Christian ducked, and it was like the most amazing fall to the outside of the ring I've ever seen, which sounds silly, but Taka just the way he landed outside of the ring was amazing.
He pretty much did a 360 or whatever it is, but basically, missing everything.
Yeah, and just crashing on the outside, and then of course Christian just did the quick dive over the top. Taka flew outside. I mean, it was just a back and forth great match. I don't understand. I mean, I know what part of the problem is. I was about to say, I don't know why the light heavyweight division didn't last, but you mentioned it, why these guys were coming out. They don't have a lot of light heavyweights right now.
No. I mean, who is a couple of the people Taka has been facing against the light heavyweights are just people we've seen one frickin' time.
Right.
And then,
in some cases, I don't believe that Brian Christopher is a light heavyweight. I think they throw him in there, but I think he's probably too heavy. But that's what I told you when they bring this title back. it's the cruiserweight title, and they changed the weight class to include other people. Because once it becomes a cruiserweight title, you got people like Matt Hardy that wrestle for it and things like that. So they change it. And I can't remember if it goes away and comes back, or if that's when they buy WCW and they start unifying titles. I'm not sure, but this was a great match. Taka's good every time we see him, and I thought it was a creative finish. The nice little
it was a good roll up. It was a counter to his Michinoku driver and a roll up, and I liked it a lot, actually.
I did too. And it looked really good. Again, if you don't watch along with us, watch this match. Don't watch the whole pay-per-view if you don't watch this match, because it's exciting. We also get the little tease of Edge. They keep showing Edge. He's in the audience just watching. I had forgot when Edge and Christian started as a tag team, they said they were brothers. I don't know why I didn't remember that. But of course, in real life, they're not brothers. They're just best friends. But soon, Edge will be with Christian and Gangrel, and we'll get the Brood. So, but yeah, very highly entertaining. And what a way to start your career, right? First match, first pay-per-view, and you win a championship right off the bat. Like,
pretty big start.
So
his bigger brother didn't even have that big of a intro.
Right. That's right. That's true. And so yeah, this was great. Christian wins with the quick roll up and is the new light heavyweight champion. And I had a lot of fun with this match. I didn't see any botches. It was nice and smooth. It told a good story, fast pace. I'm gonna give this 3.5 Mr. Yamaguchi-sons. Did I get it right? Did I get it right? Yamaguchi, see? What?
Yeah, I'm sorry for calling you racist. I just was like,
it won't be the last time. It's fine.
Bad culture, or cultural appropriation, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever,
whatever. Yeah, I enjoyed this as well. I'm gonna give this 3.5 interviews with the vampires. Interview with the Christian.
There you go. Interview with the Christian. Oh, and real quick, you have to tell us about that little thing on commentary, the picture thing. You remember that?
Oh,
it was a great line by JR.
Yeah,
share that real quick.
I've forgotten how funny JR was back then, and it's mostly tied in with the King's not admitting that Brian Christopher's his son. The King was like, "Oh man, they're talking about these light heavyweights," and he's like, "I'd like to see more of Brian Christopher." And JR's like, "Don't you have baby pictures or something?" Shut up, JR.
It was a good line. It was very quick-witted, and you don't get those out of JR too often. But I did tell you, it becomes a little bit funnier during this Attitude Era. That's for sure.
It was entertaining.
Well, I think what's next? Didn't they mention the name Goldust?
They did mention that.
Must have Goldust back. Last we knew he was still Dustin Reynolds. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing the package for this. I'm ready to see Goldust's package. You know what I'm saying? Just need to see his package.
We're talking about Goldust and packages, and I'm pretty sure he's taking on Val Venus, right? So we got packages, porn stars, and Goldust. Sounds like a party. Let's go.
I'll bring the Jack and Crack.
Where's our show going? Cut that. Don't worry. Unlike you, Ric Flair, we can't get censored.
We most definitely can.
Well, we can, but anyway.
We just don't have a producer to tell us we should.
Well, when your producer's the one doing this shit.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Fuck it, run that shit. Turn it up a notch.
And I'm like, yeah, Jack and Crack. Just so we know, just so we're clear, do you know where I get the Jack and Crack reference?
No, and I know it's from something, but I just can't.
It was an episode of South Park, and Randy and some of the other parents, they have this whole. They were making fun of witch hunts essentially, and they had this whole thing. It was a Halloween episode, and they dressed up like witches, and they like to go up camping and have Jack and Crack.
Damn, I don't.
And
I'll have
like
to go back because
nice
I don't remember
song.
that one.
It was like season 22, 23. It's a
That
newer.
would probably be why.
It was a newer
That would
season.
be why. Yeah, see, I haven't watched a lot of the
And
newer. I have the specials, but not the actual newer episodes.
and they kept on saying they're like one of the witches turns into a real witch. And
I'm a
is
real witch.
going around kidnapping children in South Park. And then,
Oh my!
so the other witches are like, "Well, we're not like him. This is all starting to start to become a witch pursuit type thing." And like, instead of just saying witch hunt, they're just like, "Oh, witch
Right,
type."
it's a witch pursuit.
They even sing a song about the witch pursuit type thing.
Oh my!
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
talking about it's
that's
like
good stuff.
don't attack us. We don't take kids. We just do Jack and crack.
Jack and crack. Oh man, it's gonna be one of our new sayings around here. Jack and crack. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's check it out.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
All right, here we go. So before our next match, we get a package, and I'm not talking about Val Venus.
I am.
But we get this whole package about their feud, and of course, like we said, he was still this Dustin Runnels character, but apparently when a porn star's after your wife, that brings out your other side, and we get Goldust. So here again, I mean, okay, so this, I kind of giggle about it, but this is obviously a great feud to have a character like Goldust feuding with a porn star over his wife.
It really is.
Ouch. But it's a perfect feud, and again, I can applaud wrestlers when they're able to do a storyline in wrestling that's going along with their real life. Now, I assume they're actually having troubles with their marriage. They didn't get divorced until 1999, but I'm sure they're actually in real life already having marriage troubles. And to turn that into a storyline, that's rough stuff. But good match by two great performers. I think Val Venus was a great wrestler. But of course, because of his gimmick, he was never going to be, like the guy. He does win a few. He gets like the Intercontinental title, maybe the European, but he was never going to be world champion being a porn star. That just wasn't going to. You can only do so much with that character. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like he could have rose to the occasion.
But I'm bummed. Funny guy over here. Funny guy. Good, hard-hitting back-and-forth match, and like we said, plenty of storytelling. There was a spot where Marlena got up. Actually, it was towards the end of the match, but Marlena got up on the apron at one point, and I could read her lips, and she said, "You're ruining my life." So she said to Goldust. And somehow he lost a glove during the match, and they insisted on zooming in on his hand so you could see that he had his wedding ring on. It's just like, wow. I give a lot of props to wrestlers for being able to do that kind of stuff. But I mean, sometimes in TNA they did a famous angle with Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle, because Jeff Jarrett is actually married to Kurt Angle's ex-wife, and yeah, and they turned it into a storyline in TNA. But when I've heard interviews, Kurt said they were all actually getting along at the time, so it wasn't hard for them to portray it as a storyline, but
right,
still rough stuff. But this was a good back and forth, hard-hitting match. The crowd was into it. Everyone was happy to see Goldust returning. Wow, you found Goldust when he first came in. We talked about the evolution of his makeup.
I didn't know exactly
what
how
it would look
this
like,
Goldust was going to look like. So
yeah, we didn't know.
And
what to
the picture they put on the Versus screen before the match was more like his old look. So
right, because we had no idea what he was going to look like, which it didn't change a whole lot. Obviously, the makeup's different, and the outfit he had on had more black. Like the arms were black and the legs were black.
Yeah, he does a lot more black later on.
A lot more black later on, but yeah, good back and forth match. I love the ending of this because, like you said, look, I don't care how big you are, how bad you are, how much of a monster you are, a nutshot will cut anybody down to size. I'm just saying. And
any man.
Yeah, any man. Now, listen, this is interesting. This could be a whole nother podcast, but I've had women tell me that if they get kicked there, it could be just as painful. And I look at them and say, maybe it's painful, but I guarantee you it's not as painful as it is for us. Okay? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it don't hurt. But
yeah,
it's two different worlds.
Taking a kick in the nuts hurts just as much as having a baby.
Yeah, probably so, and it'll definitely chop you down to size.
But we cry a lot more. That's for damn sure.
The old Valboski's got a shot to him, and so Marlena's playing backfired. She thought she could distract the ref so that Val could get the win, and it ended up backfiring on her, and Goldust gets the quick victory after the nut shot, and I had no problem with that finish because, like we said, that would take anybody down, so yeah, good stuff, and I'm sure we're not done with these two because, they're fighting over Terry, and I forgot to mention during that package we got a shot of Val in a hotel room with Terry, and she came up from under the blankets and then went back under to suggest that, she was having a little Venus popsicle, if you will. And
like you said when we were talking, Head popped back up into the show.
Yeah, Head was there as well. And I also mentioned that was the second time they've shot Terry in sexual situations with another wrestler, because we didn't see it because they did it on Raw, but during that whole Brian Pillman feud, they also did a scene where Terry was in a hotel room with Brian Pillman, and they showed that on Raw. And the reason I remember that one so well is because, unfortunately, they shot that video and aired it on Raw or whatever, but he actually died not long after they shot that segment in the hotel. So, now I don't know if Terry was there when he passed away. I doubt it, because obviously they weren't actually shacking up. But or they were. Who knows? It's wrestling. You never know. Who am I? I don't know. Maybe she was getting her little Pillman. I don't know. But anyway, good match. Victory for Goldust. He is back, thank goodness, because that Dustin Runnels character just was pretty lame.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he is Dustin Runnels, but
I do like how with that gimmick, I noticed with that gimmick he had a show. It's like he is coming back.
Yeah.
So the whole Dustin Reynolds was literally talking about Goldust. I mean,
yeah,
they played it off like he's being all religious and he's talking about Jesus.
Right. Jesus but and everything.
Technically, he was talking about Goldust. He is coming back, and
it was a good play.
That bad.
It was a good play on. It was a good play on words for sure, and I'm sure it sold plenty of merchandise. But I just don't think Dustin was ever comfortable just be Dustin because of his dad and blah blah blah. But I'm glad to see Goldust back, and of course Dustin is another one who is still wrestling to this day in AEW. Just now he does wrestle as Dustin, but he's kind of a hybrid. He paints half of his face instead of his whole face. Yeah, I kind of like it. Yeah, I like it too.
And he uses less gold.
Oh, he uses no gold now. He's usually either blue and black or red and black. Yeah, one or the other. Yeah, and of course he wears his outfit similar to that now, but no sleeves on it. So yeah, but he's still going.
I feel like he's just at the point where he's just more comfortable wearing it now, like wearing those type of outfits.
And what's crazy to me is Dustin's, he's not as old as some of them. He's 50 something, but I mean, he does some stuff now that I've never seen him do in his career. Like, he's at a whole nother level. He did a tequila sunrise to someone on an apron. Dustin Runnels, Goldust, did a fucking tequila sunrise on the apron to a guy. Never seen him do that in my life. And that's the kind of stuff he's doing now in AEW. So anyway, overall, great match because it's got a great story to it. It's got a feud to it. And there was a build. There was a reason for this match to take place. I liked the ending because it's like, hey, you may have my wife, but you're not fucking her tonight, buddy. Whatever. So, I'm going to give this 3.5 nut shots.
Yeah. I also enjoyed this. I'm going to go with 3 family jewels.
Family jewels. The poor little Valboskis. What did they do? Poor guys. All right, let's see what's next. I do believe we have a title match next because there's like a million titles. Every title, I think every title's on the line pretty much in this, so except the women's. But anyway, yeah. So let's see what's next.
Yeah, we haven't seen the women's title defended in a long time, and I mean a long time.
Long time. All right, so here we go in our next match, another title match. It is for the European Championship. The challenger is X-Pac, and the champion is D'Lo. And we were kind of talking during this, trying to figure out what exactly is going on with the Nation. Because even when D'Lo came out, he still had Nation music and all this. But they did address the fact that the Nation has split at this point. But Mark Henry and D'Lo are still friends. He's got a theme. He just wants to stick with it, by the way. He's just like, yeah. You have found D'Lo
getting bored.
You have found D'Lo with the title.
With the European, yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I think I have that X-Pac figure, by the way. I think I have that one. Hiding in the not in there, shoot. But I do think I have that one. No, I think
I'm going to do some more interesting things because I'm just getting bored. So,
hey, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
You know what I should do is just we do these match cards, and I'll just have you send me pictures of your figures because you probably have all these guys.
It's not that expensive. I wish I did. I don't think I have that, but it would be interesting to see if I had enough at least for one of the pay-per-views. That would be kind of interesting.
Maybe if we would have done this in the 80s.
Maybe,
or you probably have a bunch of the old guys,
wow,
don't you?
Well, I'm kind of weird about...
You have Hulk Hogan for every pay-per-view.
I got a lot of Hulk Hogans. But when it comes to other figures, it's kind of just like... There's some people I don't have any of because they just never really had any cool figures. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a D'Lo Brown. I know I don't have a D'Lo Brown. So whatever. But anyway, good match here. Back and forth, very competitive. Two great wrestlers. It went longer than I thought it would, and I'm not complaining. I'm not saying it was too long of a match. It's just we've seen several kind of short matches on this one, and they gave these guys quite a bit of time.
Some time.
And when we're watching, I'm like, we're talking about how they don't have any light heavyweights, and here's X-Pac in the ring. Like, why isn't he in the? But he's too busy being.
Well, he's
for the
been
European
busy.
Championship. And,
he's in bigger storylines right now.
And he's got a movie coming up in a little while too. You do know he stars in the night.
I feel like that's after.
It is. We're
after
not there
his
yet.
Career there.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. But anyway, good back and forth match, and I don't know why, but one of my favorite things about the European title being around is every time I hear Jerry Lawler say he's the champion of Europe, and I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. And then earlier, like one point during the match, he's like, he's showing off for everybody in London. Like. Ever since his titles came around, Jerry really likes to try to hammer the fact that it's the European Championship.
Yes, yeah.
Which never meant anything. It was just an extra mid-card title to have. That's all. But
right.
And we saw another nut shot. This is like, forget Judgment Day. This is Night of the Nut Shots. This is what this should have been
Night
called.
Night of the Nuts.
Like, what the hell is going on?
Plenty of nut shots.
I doubt very
They're
seriously.
I just don't see handing out nut shots like it's Oprah.
Right, you get a nut shot.
You get a nut shot.
I just don't see Vince backstage going, guys, make sure we get plenty of ball shots in tonight. Just remember, everybody get a nut. I just don't think that'd be I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, this is the 90s. They were probably all rebels. Like, Vince is like, oh, we need to calm down on the nut shots. Nope, more.
Yeah. Well, because Triple H and Shawn are in the back going, do the nut shots. Do it.
Do the nuts.
Actually, Shawn's
not in the back.
Shawn's not in the back right now. But anyway, this is when he thought he was done. So we don't even have Shawn. But yeah, good back and forth match. There was a point where Mark Henry came out, and I forgot about this when Mark Henry first came in. They did this whole thing, like they're doing this storyline where Mark's obsessed with China, like in love with China, so he came out to distract China.
Oh, that story.
Yeah. Well, it's not the hand. That's Mae Young later, but anyway.
No, I remember that too.
Yeah, I remember. We're going to get there. So he comes out to distract China. D'Lo got the belt, hits X-Pac with the belt, but X-Pac actually kicked out of that. That did not take X-Pac out, so that was cool. We saw a ref bump, and the finish was cool, right? The finish was pretty good. I liked the finish.
Yeah.
But before we got to that, there was a point where I thought D'Lo was going up to do his frog splash, and instead he literally just did like a front flip.
They called it a cannonball. They said he did a cannonball.
Oh, that's right. He might have did it kind of anyway. He went to do that and he missed. But the finish was actually D'Lo was coming off the top rope and X-Pac caught him and gave him an X Factor in midair. So that was a pretty cool way to end the match. And X-Pac gets the title back.
It was.
Now D'Lo's going to have to spend money on some new tights unless he wants to keep wearing the European Championship tights.
Well, if you remember right, X-Pac had won the title before.
Yeah.
And They've kind of been giving it back and forth, and he kept those tights. He was still wearing European Championship tights when he was facing.
X-Pac had it, and they actually showed us before this match how D'Lo won it back on Raw. So, yeah, you're right. They've been kind of trading off. And last time D'Lo didn't have the title, but he still wore those tights. But, they have to pay for their own gear. So sometimes you just got to roll with it.
It's expensive, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's not cheap to get this stuff. So, good match, good finish. It's been a pretty solid pay-per-view, really. I think we only had one match we kind of shit on so far. So it's been a pretty solid pay-per-view. Creative finish. I still just don't know about the net jobs constantly, but whatever. Whatever. Mark Henry picking up the ref was kind of cool too, right? Because he literally just picked him up and threw his ass back in the ring. That was a pretty cool spot there too. And very athletic competition. So I'm gonna give this 3 suckets.
3 suckets?
3 suckets.
I liked it quite a bit. I'm going to go 3.5 tender testicle festivals.
Folks, have you ever been to the Testicle Festival? Because I have.
I have not.
I've been to the Testicle Festival a couple times. Where you go to eat
Did you actually eat some testicles?
Yes, I have. I have had them. Yes, I have had the fried testicles.
And
boy, we're going down a rabbit hole here, aren't we? They're not. It depends on who makes them because they don't have a lot of flavor themselves. So if the breading's not seasoned, then they're not very good. I mean, if you did know it was a testicle as far as eating it, you're not like, oh, it's a ball. You don't really know. You know what I mean? But yeah, it really depends on how they're breaded and then how they're fried. Because if they're tough, then it just tastes like nasty beef jerky. If the meat's tender, you can't. I mean, I don't know how to describe the taste of it, but yes, they can be good. It's all about how they're breaded and how long they're fried. So there you go.
All right.
Kind of like veal.
I don't.
That's what I would compare it to. I would kind of compare it to veal as far as the texture.
Then I hate it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, if you don't like veal, you would not like them at all. No.
I'm not a huge veal fan.
Yeah, but that's the closest thing I can compare it to is.
I always joked that it was because I protest the way veal is made, but honestly, I just don't like the taste.
Right. That's about the only thing I do compare it to, yeah. But if
or
they're
at least
not
the veal that I've had,
breading,
and I think the veal I've had is shitty, frozen banquet veal,
just like
or
the
something.
Banquet veal, yeah. So,
yeah. So maybe if I had real veal or
better
prepared veal.
I don't think I've had any other veal other than the same thing you're talking about, like the frozen patty for a sandwich,
don't really care for it.
Veal parmesan or whatever. Yeah. So, all right. So there you go. I guess we're ready to move on. I'm assuming we have another title match because I know the tag titles are still on the line. We got to crown an Intercontinental Champion. We got a world title match. So I'm gonna guess we have a title match next.
All right. Well, I'm glad I know that you've chowed on some balls. Anyways,
yes,
let's go.
I have chowed on some balls. Let's go. Wow. Oh, good stuff. All right, here we go. And our next match is for the WWF Tag Team Championships, and it's the New Age Outlaws against apparently now the heel, the evil Headbangers. Evil Headbangers.
They play their rock music on backwards.
Yeah, so we heard an interview from the Headbangers, and I don't remember that happening very often, and they said something about someone stole their boombox, and they weren't able to listen to their Marilyn Manson CDs backwards. A quick side note, because I am the toy nerd, all these pictures you're finding, these toys were from the BC line of toys, the Bone Crushing Action, the BCA line of WWF toys. And I have a couple of these hiding somewhere. But yeah, these guys, so when they made them, what it was is if you move their arm or their legs, you could hear a click, like their bones were crunching. That's why they were called bone crunching figures, because they would when you move their joints. Anyway, random side note for you there. Those are from the Bone Crushing Action figures. So here we go, tag team match, and we were kind of talking about, we weren't quite sure when it started if the Headbangers were supposed to be the bad guys, because DX is kind of always the heels usually, but they definitely, because Lawler even talked about their new attitudes, so they've definitely turned the Headbangers into the the heel tag team. And they can't devil worship because they lost their boombox.
Yeah, right.
For you kids that don't know, a boombox, was a big radio before we had a thing this big that played.
Oh, don't say it like
music.
that.
not only that, because we get to see the boombox eventually. Not only that, it was like one of those boomboxes where your speakers would come off and you could put them like, you know what I mean, like the speakers popped off and you could put them in different parts of the room. But anyway, this was a classic.
You okay?
Yeah, my chair. It's fine. It was a technical difficulty. Anyway, when I get some of that hush money, I can get a new one. Anyway, technical foul. Throw a flag. A good classic tag team match. They isolated Billy pretty much the entire match and did all the stuff you expect out of a heel tag team. Get Road Dogg to try to come in so the ref's back's turned and you could double team. They did the classic. They did the classic clap and switch spots. Even though there was no tag, which is kind of silly, I guess, but I've always liked that spot. I don't know why. I like it even more if the good guys try to do it and actually make a tag, but the ref didn't see it, so he always makes the face leave the ring. But when the heels do it, it's fine. It's just classic.
Well, yeah, of course.
Classic tag team wrestling. I was kind of, I get why they did it to extend the feud.
That's part of your heel contract is the ability to do that clap tag. Do the
switcheroo and not get kicked out of the ring.
You get a couple little perks being a heel.
Yeah. And it actually worked. You could tell they used this match to make the Headbangers look strong, which they did. They looked strong. I guess this match was kind of a way to get them a little bit away from their silliness now that they're heels, because you can't be goofy and laughing and jumping around all the time. So they looked really strong in this. It was a good tag team match. I was a little bit disappointed in the finish just because I wanted to see somebody actually win, but not totally because it's the Outlaws, and when you're DX, you do what you want. The boombox, the missing boombox showed up at the end of the match. And Road Dogg just said, fuck it. And bam, good old boombox shot.
Which is sad because, that was perfectly good boombox. That's vintage nowadays.
That board JVC boombox got shattered. Just shattered. I guess I should totally hate the finish, though, because, for one, it's championship advantage, right? If you get disqualified, you can't lose your titles. And Billy Gunn was definitely about to be pinned. They definitely had Billy in a position where the match was going to be over. So it fits the characters. And there again, the fans love it. And this just again knocks in that home run, and we'll get to it now that we're covering WCW, but this is more of what came out of the NWO, and I know I keep going back to that, but WWF saw what they were doing, and that's what gave us the attitude. If we would have never got the NWO, we would have never got the Attitude Era. We probably would have never got Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon. It's that the heel cool thing. Like DX should be bad, but people cheered when they used that boombox. They didn't care. They loved every minute of it.
Oh yeah.
Which is why DX worked, because DX could do whatever. Same thing with Stone Cold, who became one of the biggest stars ever. He did what the fuck he wanted. People loved it, and boom. So it's just very interesting time in wrestling, for sure. I think it's harder today. It's harder today to have an era like... You'll never see another era like this, because for one, you can't really keep your character protected anymore. Like The Undertaker would never work now, because there's too much social media and all that. So it's hard to protect your characters. It's hard to have kayfabe. It's a little harder to pull off good stories in wrestling today. Not saying there aren't any. I'm just saying it's a little harder to pull off certain things because of the way the world is.
Some things are hard, but we're having some great storylines being told with the Bloodline. We're getting some good stuff from the Judgment Day.
Yeah, there's some out there. They
shocked the world with CM Punk.
They did. No matter who says they knew, they did shock the world. And it's bullshit anybody that was like, I knew. No, you didn't, because the talent didn't even know. The people there didn't even know. Literally, it was only Triple H and Nick Khan that knew. So, they pulled that one off. Of course, everybody was like, it's going to happen, but no one actually, even my source that reports wrestling news for a living, didn't see that one coming. So that was a good, that's hard to pull off too, though. You make a good point. It's hard to surprise. When Punk came into AEW, everybody knew it was going to happen. Like, they tried to kayfabe it, but everybody knew it wasn't really that big of a shock. It was just waiting, so... You're right, though. We still get some. It's just, I miss this era. And I think it's not just the Attitude Era, it's the difference in the stars. And I'm not knocking anybody today, but the roster back then, watch Monday Night Raw and you see the Rock face Undertaker on freaking Raw. You know what I mean? And Finn Balor versus Seth just isn't as big as The Rock versus, Triple H on a Raw. That's all. It's just, and that's not knocking the talent. I just don't think it's in the same place it used to be.
It kind of seems like you're knocking the talent.
It does, but I'm not. It's just the characters and stuff aren't the same. I love Seth Rollins, don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about the change, the way wrestling's changed. That's all. But anyway.
And I get it. Wrestling has definitely changed, but a lot of good stuff is going on right now. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor being part of that.
Yes, they are. They are, yeah. But anyway, good tag team match. I still think it's wrong. I'm throwing a flag for destroying that boombox. It did nothing wrong. I'm just saying.
It did nothing wrong.
You get a penalty for that one.
It was playing backwards Marilyn Manson.
That's right.
You probably the New Age Outlaws probably just prevented the rise of Cthulhu right there.
They probably did, and
yeah,
it was a great action. I'm gonna give this 3 subliminal messages because that's how you find them. You play your music backwards, you get your subliminal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm gonna give this 3 Beelzebub.
Ah, touche. Touche. All right. Well,
Beelzebub is their buddy.
Their friend. To the end. Wait, that's Chucky. But anyway. All right, well.
Same difference.
Same difference. Whatever. Let's see what's next.
Yell at the time.
All right, so here we go in our next match. I got a little confused. I knew they had a tournament for an Intercontinental title because Triple H got hurt and had to vacate it. I thought this was the finals, but it wasn't. Shamrock is the champ. So it's Ken Shamrock defending against Mankind, who is now accompanied by Mr. Sacco. We have Mr. Sacco now.
We do.
Which it seems man-like time's flying. I didn't think it'd be time for Mr. Sacco already, but our trip back in time goes by really quick.
Can I just say I love that Ken Shamrock face on that toy?
That is a good Shamrock face. Gotta love it. So there was a point. This match was a little bit brutal to the point where I was like, "Is this a no DQ?" And they forgot to announce it. But then Jim Ross was like, "Mike Chioda's just giving Mankind the best chance to win the Intercontinental title." And by that you mean letting Shamrock beat him with a steel chair, and you're giving him
right.
You're giving him the best chance to win by taking those chair shots. One of my favorite spots, and I think yours too, because I heard you make the reaction, is when Shamrock did like the power slam on the outside.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
on
Foley,
on the steel
on the stairs.
Steps.
Yeah. Crazy ass Foley, man.
Brutal looking.
The dude is insane.
These are both people that I just want real pain.
Yeah.
Because didn't Ken Shamrock also have a thing like, you're going to make me bleed, just make me bleed?
Or like I told you about the famous chair shot, I think from The Rock or whatever, whoever it was, he said, you're going to hit me for real, just hit me. Yeah. So at first I was like, well, this seems like a weird match. But then I thought about it and I'm like, well, it's perfect because you have Foley who's fucking nuts and doesn't care what you do to him. And Shamrock's just an insane, roided up monster. I'm not saying he's on roids, but he acts a little bit like it, like shit.
Yeah.
And it had a very, very creative finish in it as well that I didn't see coming. But here again, everything looked legit. It was actually a really good match. I don't know if Foley's ever had any bad matches. The more we watch him, I'm just like, I don't know if we've seen too many stink fests with Foley in it. And I guess if you have a beast like Shamrock and you want someone who can take the pain, Mankind's the perfect choice. And was it an interview or something? You said you heard it. I kind of missed it, but I guess they said that Foley had stated he would not tap out to the ankle lock.
There was an interview before the match where he's like, he promised that him or Mr. Sacco would not tap out.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now because he was talking about how Mr. Sacco. By the way, Mr. Sacco, I'm pretty sure was undefeated and never tapped out or took a pin. I don't think Mr. Sacco ever lost. I'm just saying. But yeah, he said he would never tap out, and there came a point where Shamrock got the ankle lock on, and he probably had that on for a while.
He couldn't escape, so he decided to do the mandible claw to himself. So he lost by mandible claw, not the.
Yeah. No, at first I was like, what the fuck are they? What are they doing? But then you kind of mentioned, you were just talking, and you were like, I don't know if Mankind ever tapped out, because would it really make sense for his character to tap out?
Because he takes so much pain all the time. Like, that should be his superpower right there. It's like, I do not tap out.
Exactly. So he's making great facials, and he's trying to get to the ropes, and he said he wouldn't tap out to the ankle lock, and he didn't. He was just like, fuck it. He takes off Mr. Sacco and gives himself the mandible claw. I saw him doing it. I'm like, what's he doing? Isn't he going to pass out?
He passes out.
It was the whole point of the story, and then they announced that Shamrock won by a mandible claw.
Yeah, and Shamrock
gets pissed, goes in his roid rage, and takes out a ref again. But then he ends up getting Mr. Sacco. He gets to meet Mr. Sacco at the end of the match. And,
he does.
Feel how that, and you were like, and it was bad. Look, we're going to see Mr. Sacco more, and I remember seeing her several times, but this is early Mr. Sacco, and it looks like he forgot to take a bath. Just saying, Mr. Sacco was a little bit dirty.
Did not use those the laundry detergent crystals.
If it was a clean sock, it would probably be a little better than the way he normally delivers the mandible claw.
Yeah, maybe.
Know. I mean, than just having his fingers in your mouth. I mean, this was a little different too because he used to wear like the glove that had the mandible claw fingers.
Well, he still had that.
I thought it was just taped up. It didn't look like he had the glove on. It looked like he just taped the mandible claw fingers together.
He had a black thing on his wrist too, so I think it was meant to be a whole thing.
Okay, it looked a little different for some reason this time. I don't know why, but another great match. A lot of hard shots. I've said it already on the podcast. Back in the day, I didn't like Shamrock, but damn it, everything he does is believable. And that's always been, I think I was just so biased back then. We've talked about that, but now we're to the point where we watch these things and I see Shamrock's on the card. I'm like, oh, somebody's going to get fucked up. It's either going to be a wrestler or a referee or both, but somebody's getting fucked up.
Or all of the above. So.
And that's believability. That's what sells. That's just like when Foley comes to the ring. I know we're going to see some crazy shit most likely happening to Foley, but you know you're going to see some.
Yeah.
Like, so when Shamrock comes out, you're like, somebody's getting fucked up. When Foley comes out, you're like, Foley's getting fucked up. That's just the feelings that you get, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good match, though, and Shamrock retains and gets pissed off because he didn't win by his ankle lock. So he's angry Shamrock now. By the way, and some internet people took it way out of proportion because like 2 days ago, some photos surfaced of new Ken Shamrock merchandise. So then you have all these trolls going, oh, Shamrock's coming back. And blah, blah. He's not coming back. Slow the fuck down. Shamrock signed a Legends deal. So yes, there is new Ken Shamrock merchandise available now, but he's not coming back. Slow your roll. All Legends deal means is they can sell Ken merchandise shit and they can put him in the video games and he makes some money. That's all a Legends deal is. So let's just, I mean, believe it or not, I don't know how old he is now, but he was just wrestling not that long ago. He was in TNA, or Impact, I'm sorry. And yeah, he was just wrestling probably like 2 or 3 years ago still in Impact Wrestling. But I don't expect him to make an in-ring return. I think it's just just a Legends deal. They can put him in the video games. They can sell his merch. That's all. Everybody's happy, but I don't expect a comeback. I could be wrong, and especially right now, like it's going to sound like I'm knocking Shamrock, but you're not going to bring Shamrock back right now when Punk just returned, and I mean, I just don't see that happening. I think it's just a Legends deal, but we'll see. He could show up. Maybe he's got an ankle lock left in him. You never know.
Yeah, right.
Who knows? But as far as this goes, another good match. It's been a pretty damn good pay-per-view, and I don't even remember this pay-per-view. But it's been a pretty solid one. And I'm feeling this one. I'm going to give this 3.5 ankle locks.
I am going to go with, I just got to go with 3.5. Mr. Sacco!
Mr. Sacco, so excited. Mr. Sacco's here. By the way, folks, it's Christmas time, and you may not know this, but it only happens once a year, and Mick Foley right now is selling autographed Mr. Saccos. So you better grab yours today. They're limited. He actually does it every year at Christmas.
Does Mr. Sacco have a hat? Christmas hat?
He doesn't have a Christmas hat, but he does have a face on him, and you can buy the bloody or unbloody Mr. Sacco. So you got those two. But anyway, yeah, it is a real thing he does every year. Part of the money goes to charity, but I've just never had the hush money to buy one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but there you go. All right. Well, we know we only have 2 matches left, so I don't have to see what's next. We know what's next. We get to see the great one, The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock is coming.
That means we're getting close to the Rock and Sock connection.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Absolutely.
Right. Let's check it out.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
All right, so here we go. Our next match is the former Nation now feuding as we see Mark Henry take on the great one, The Rock. The great one. And short match. And
it was.
I don't want to say Mark Henry didn't get moves in. I don't want to make it sound like, but The Rock was pretty much had the upper hand the entire match.
Rock did a scoop slam on Mark Henry like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, it was very impressive because it was just one smooth. You know, usually when somebody's trying to body slam the bigger guy, it goes kind of slow, or there's hesitation, or there's like the false look.
Right.
Rock just did it nice and smooth like it was nothing, and then gave him a people's elbow. But of course, that old Dirty D-Lo came down. Dirty D-Lo came down and distracted the referee. And I was shocked by the outcome. Mark Henry beat The Rock. The young Mark Henry.
Technically, yeah.
Technically beat The Rock. Nice. With he nailed him with a big splash after the distraction, and then D-Lo held The Rock's feet down. I think we've talked about this before, and I didn't think about it much then, but come on. That's the stupid. That doesn't keep anybody from kicking out of the pin. Come on. I mean, I know it takes away your leg strength, but all you have to do is this, so you don't really need your legs. But I get it. It's the point of telling the story, and obviously they're not going to be quite done with this feud yet. And obviously the breakup just happened to the Nation, because like we said, they're still coming down. You watch Mark Henry come down to the Nation's music that sounds kind of like The Rock's music. And then The Rock comes out to his new version of the music. But it wasn't a bad match. It was quick. It was short. With the typical heel cheating victory, The Rock still looked good. We got to see a people's elbow. And like you said, that impressive body slam. But it was just kind of short, sweet, to the point. When Henry was walking away, Rock was just giving him that look like, okay, you pulled one off. Okay. This time, give him a little people's eyebrow.
As they said, he took it like a man.
He took it like a man. Hello, ladies.
It's like I like it because it's almost like, well, I was just in the Nation where we did a lot of shenanigans. He's like, and you did it on me. Okay, I see what you did.
You can't really get. Yeah, it's kind of like Karate Kid.
Recognized game. You know.
Yeah, it'd be like Karate Kid knocking out Mr. Miyagi with a kick. You know, you can't really be. They used what you taught them to pull one over. But yeah, he was kind of telling that, which may sound silly, but facials can tell a lot. And that's what his facial expression was saying, was, okay, all right. I mean, I used to do the same shit, so I can't hate.
Yeah, no, I can't hate it. Yeah, absolutely.
You can have my respect. Other than being short, it was a good match. And short doesn't make it bad. I'll tell you that. But pretty solid match. It's been a solid pay-per-view for sure.
I mean, if I go by the other matches, because the other matches were longer, better, I'm going to go with 2 people's elbows on this one, because, I mean, it's not that it was bad. It's just, it was short. There wasn't much to it.
Yeah,
and
you
if
can't
you
really
compare it to the other ones, it's like, it doesn't, was it so short that does it deserve a 3? You know, it wasn't like spectacular. Although that body slam was pretty spectacular.
I agree. But I'm also not going to go 3, and part of it is because it was a shorter one, so you can't really, compared to the other matches that we just saw. But I'm going to give it 2.5 body splashes.
Alrighty.
By Mark Henry. Which looked really painful.
One more left.
We do. We got the main event, and I believe that you said when you were kind of researching and stuff, you saw somewhere that this was on a list of like the worst matches ever.
So yeah, when I was looking up for the matchup arts, yeah, I found that.
So I'm intrigued to see, because I have not remembered anything about this pay-per-view. So this was obviously one I never watched. I mean, I'm sure I watched it at some point, and I just don't remember. But I don't think I watched it at the time. I don't think I watched it when it came out. So yeah, let's do it. Let's see what our main event is. Let's see who walks out as the world champion, and who the fuck is Stone Cold going to pick to win. I think that's what's intriguing about this, is he made Austin the referee. Like, I'm supposed to give someone else my title. Great. I'll take care of that for you.
All right. Well, we'll check that out.
Let's do it. All right. So our next match was the main event. Sounds great on paper. Undertaker versus Kane. Stone Cold's the ref. It sucked and the fans shit all over it. That's what I'll say about that.
Oh yeah, they did.
What are we doing?
They were not fans.
I mean,
the fans were not fans.
I get what we're doing. This is all about building the Mr. McMahon and Austin feud. I understand that. When this was all over, we still didn't have a champ. Fine, but it was the shit that went on like old school wrestling. You work on a body part, right? But not when you have two fucking giants facing each other.
Undertaker played it off like he was like a small dude.
Yeah, this is not Kurt Angle versus fucking Kane. Why do we have 20-minute ankle locks? Like, neither one of you are submission guys. That shit doesn't work when it's two big guys against each other. And the other problem is Stone Cold's so hot that no one really gave a fuck about what Undertaker and Kane were doing. Like,
yeah, it's almost like they needed Stone Cold to keep fucking around with them. Like, they really should have had Stone Cold, like, do shit or, like, over-dramatize, like, oh, you're on the rope, man? Like, just kind of...
They should have played with it more than they...
too involved.
Yeah, they should have played with it more than they did. They only played with it a little bit. Like, Taker got a pin and Austin did a really slow count, and then when Kane tried to get a pin, he did a really fast count. But like you said, you could have played with so much else. You could have done so much else. And then these two guys at one point decided to beat the fuck out of Stone Cold. And then he does no retaliation when he finally wakes up. Come on, it's fucking Stone Cold.
No, he does retaliate.
He does eventually. He did eventually, but
he kind of just watches him and he waits until a pin is happening. Then he ignores the pin, then does a Stone Cold stunner on him and hits him over the head with a chair. So he does retaliate. He just
eventually, you're right. He
waits to bite.
He does. I don't know. It was clunky and weird. And Paul Bearer came out when Austin was down, and you didn't know what he was gonna do. And he hit Kane with a chair, and Kane's like, "Really? The fuck was that, Paul? Like, that was like a fly. What are you doing?"
Look, the one defense. That's the only defense I have for this match, is that the ending was somewhat entertaining.
The ending was somewhat entertaining.
I will defend what Stone Cold does at the end. It's just everything building up to that end
was
shit.
Bad. Yeah,
absolute shit.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, Kane and Undertaker are kind of on each other's side right now, but this is for the fucking title. Like, at first, it kind of started that way because Undertaker was just laying into him right away. And then after they both beat up Austin, fucking Undertaker jumped him again. But so, like, I get it that you two are, like, together and you want to take out Austin, but it's for the fucking title. You should have been, like, wanting the title. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was just kind of messy.
When they started beating down Austin, I was thinking this was a plot by Vince McMahon to pretty much just take out Austin but not fire him.
Right, that's what I thought too.
I thought this was going to be the end of the match where they just beat the crap out of Austin.
Beat the shit out of him, yeah.
And then Undertaker attacks Kane, and I'm like, we're still concerned about the title. I thought you were just trying to
beat up Austin.
Do McMahon's bidding.
And after he gets them both down, after Austin does the stunners and all that, he counts 1, 2, 3, but no one's covering either man. They're just laying on the fucking mats with their shoulders down. Like,
I'm confused.
And he's like, "You're winner of the match, Stone Cold." Like, what do we?
At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. But no, at first I was confused. I thought maybe he was doing a double count out.
Right. So I thought he was just going to be like, "Nobody won. Fuck it."
I thought the story was, it was a double count out, so nobody wins. I don't have to raise a hand, and I did it within the parameters of the match.
Right.
But instead, he's like, 1, 2, 3, I win. It's like, I don't think that's how a pin works, Austin.
I don't either, because there was nobody covering them, Austin. That's not. So I mean, yeah, other than the ending and all the shenanigans, it's like the one time the shenanigans were the best thing in the whole fucking match, and then the place finally went nuts. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Undertaker and Kane, but they were yelling stuff like "you fucked up," "boring," Austin. Like the crowd did not care about Undertaker and Kane. So I don't know. I know there's a reason for it. I know we're going to get somewhere with it, and it's going to be part of a bigger story. But this particular deal didn't work out that quite so well.
Right.
And just little things like you and I mentioned could have made it so much more better. Like eliminate the fucking 20-minute submission holds, for God's sakes. I don't know what we're doing with that. And like you said, Austin could have been a little more involved in doing shit like breaking up shit that wasn't illegal or whatever, just dramatizing everything.
One way to get the fans into this match would have been have Austin constantly, make sure they're doing shit where Austin can get involved.
Right, and can break it up and can talk shit,
Bringing tension into the match. And that would have brought your fans back into it. But instead, you decide to have Undertaker act like he's Owen Hart facing Yokozuna and needing to take him down.
Yeah.
Instead of having two big men just beat the shit out of each other. It's just, and I've never liked Undertaker doing submissions. Like, I hated that triangle death hold or whatever it's called.
Oh, you're talking about when he was feuding with Edge and stuff, the Gates of Hell.
The Gates of Hell.
Hell's Gates, what he called it.
Hell's
that one
Gate.
I actually liked. I actually liked the Hell's Gate thing. I won't lie, but I
just think it's awkward with
It's
Undertaker.
weird for the Undertaker to have that, but I get it, yeah.
I don't necessarily hate the move. I hate that Undertaker has. I don't like.
Right.
It just feels weird. I never got into it, and they kind of did this whole thing where every time he does it, people bleed. I think that's trying to make it more badass, I guess. I don't know, but I just never liked Undertaker using the submission move. Just you're a giant. Just stay off the ground.
Yeah. I mean,
the only time I want to see you on the ground is when you're sitting up,
right,
and surprising the world. That's the only time. Other than that,
we do have to mention real quick, they weren't thrown, but we got to see the beer chugs, and this is the first time we've seen Austin. I'm sure at this point he's drinking beer, but this is the first time we saw Austin celebrate with beer after the match.
So
But this was kind of just weird to watch because, it's not to the point yet where the timekeeper tosses him to him. So he rolled out of the ring, grabs a plastic shopping bag, and whips out his Bud Light. That's right, kids. Stone Cold drank Bud Light. You don't call him a pussy? I don't think so.
Yeah. He drank that gay beer.
He drank that gay beer. Of course, he doesn't drink it anymore because he has his own beer now, but, so he doesn't drink that anymore. But unfortunately, you know what? A lot of great people in it, but we talk about this all the time. This was the main event, and it was other than the fun at the ending. And I'm only probably doing this because it's Stone Cold related, so I'm going to give it 2 of these. 2 of these. So this match gets.
I'm sorry, but in my opinion, you only get one.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
It was really bad, and
it was rough.
The stuff after the match was more interesting than the match itself. Like I said, I did enjoy the ending a little bit, but it wasn't enough to take this out of Hell's territory.
And there was so much, like we talked about, the crowd kind of gave him crap, and they did, but there was actually more silence than there was chanting anything.
Which is worse.
Which is worse. Yes. When it's your main event and you have quiet time, that's a problem. That's
at least when they were bashing it, they were
involved,
bashing it, involved. But they're just so bored. It was so boring.
It was definitely not that great at all. So life moves on, right?
I just realized that not everybody watches this as a video. So Boomer gave it 2 middle fingers up.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Correct. I'm sorry. Not everybody does.
And I gave it 1 finger up. Guess which finger it was.
This one. The first finger. The pointing finger. I give you 1.
The one you just put up when you don't give a fuck.
The fuck?
A little Eminem right there.
Little Eminem. All right, well, let's pick some matches.
Let's do that.
Let's
Sounds
do
more
that.
exciting than this match.
Favorite match of the night.
All right, so favorite match of the night. I tell you what, it's not the main event. I can tell you that much. I went back and looked through,
confirm.
and I gave quite a few of these matches similar rankings. There were a bunch of stinkers, and I'm just going to go with the one that I enjoyed the most and I thought had the best wrestling action in it, and I'm going to go with the Cruiserweight title match between Christian and Taka Michinoku for my favorite match of the night.
Not a bad choice. Yeah, I agree with you. It's like a lot of decent stuff, and I am not sure which to pick. Because, yeah, I mean, that might be a good choice. Might be.
But my choices are always good. Don't argue with me. Just joking.
Right. I'm debating on whether I want to agree with you. Got Val Venus and Goldust. Definitely don't want that LOD versus that crap.
You had X-Pac and D-Lo.
You know what? I think
you had the tag title match, but
yeah, I like The Rock and Mark Henry, but it was kind of short.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna go with the X-Pac match.
That's a good choice.
It was a fun match, and it had a really cool ending. I like the X Factor off the top rope ish.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I think out of the whole show, I think my pick, which was the Cruiserweight match, and the one you just picked, and then Goldust and Val, those were probably the three best matches I feel like on the card. So that's a good choice, going with D'Lo and X-Pac. That was a good match. And the ending was very slick in that one. So I agree. Good pick. Good pick. Now we got to pick the worst.
Yes, we do.
I'm twirling my mustache that I don't have, just in case you're wondering. My evil mustache, I don't know.
Worst match.
All right.
Of the night.
Worst match of the night. Oh, look. The man's in the picture that was involved in it. It was the main event. I'm sorry if that's the worst match of the night because it was the main event and it was kind of a shit show. So yeah, Taker versus King.
I almost debated on not picking this because of the ending, but I feel like that's not enough because I agree it is the worst match of the night.
I think it just goes back to our philosophy about how we feel about the main event. They don't always have to be like a 5-star match, but there's certain expectations when something's the main event. And then when you have 3 of your biggest stars in it and it's a shit fest, that's yeah.
I see why it was on a list of worst matches of all time.
Yeah. And it's just a shame because, like we talked about, they could have just done a few little things different and it wouldn't have been so bad. But it's just the way they chose to execute it was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's Stone Cold, and you knew Stone Cold was going to get fired at the end of the night, anyways. You could have had him mess around. You could have had him constantly sniping at these two. It would have been so much better.
It could have been more. It definitely could have been more.
Could have been more.
It happens. So.
It does.
All right. Well, we did it. We watched and we
did it.
We got to plug some pluggables.
Plug those pluggables.
Plug those.
Well, you can find me at Dragon Blazer Productions on the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube, the Facebook. Did I say them off? Oh, the TikToks.
Yeah.
At Dragon Blazer Productions. And then you can find me on the X at Dragon Blazer Pro.
DX, not the DX. Of course, we have the Boomer and Blaze Show Facebook page. You can follow us at Boomer_Blaze on Insta and Twitter, X, whatever, and of course at Boomer and Blaze Show on the TikToks. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. And also, don't forget, 5 stars, 5 stars. Rank us, rate us, leave us reviews.
Apple, if you have Apple podcast, review would be lovely. I don't know if any other place I go or have it on allows reviews, except for like YouTube. YouTube, right. You can make some comments. We like comments.
I'm not sure either. And actually, one of our listeners that we both know just told me the other day that he found us on Amazon Music. Apparently,
yeah,
our podcast. I don't know if you can rate on that one or not. I listen to us, but I use Spotify. That's just me. But I know you can listen to us on iHeartRadio and many other places. But so yeah, there you go.
So Amazon Music did not used to have podcast.
Gotcha.
When they started adding podcast, I got an email offering to put my shows on there. So I actually had to manually put those on there on Amazon Music.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And of course I did, because more exposure.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that.
I actually added us on the Amazon Music because
nice. Yes.
They just started podcasts. Maybe 2 years ago, I think it was. And yeah, I got our show on there like right off the bat. Even before we became a thing.
There you go.
I can't remember.
All right, well, we made it through another one, and I'm excited to let you know that next week it's Survivor Series.
Survive.
I want to be excited, but this is a different and special Survivor Series. I don't think there's any Survivor Series matches on this. But the reason is... No! But listen though. You know why there's not? The reason there's not a Survivor Series match is because... Then there might be, but I don't think there is any because we get a tournament to crown a new champion at this Survivor Series. So, we do get a tournament. We may not get... I do
like
tournaments.
I do like a tournament. I do.
This particular Survivor Series is all about crowning the new World Heavyweight Champion. So, that's what we'll be covering next week, Survivor Series 1998, where we're going to crown a brand new heavyweight champion, because obviously after this shit show was over, we still did not have a champion. So, there you go.
I'm just curious how Stone Cold's going to fuck things up.
I remember parts of the Survivor Series, and that's why I said I'm pretty sure there's not any Survivor Series matches themselves because, and I could be wrong, but I think there isn't because it's all about the title. So that'll be next week, Survivor Series 1998. Until then, this has been the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And good night from Dragon Blazer Studios.
Hey everyone, this is Blaze from the Ragin' Blaze and the Boomer and Blaze show. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wrestling content.